So we talked about some of the lamest rivalries in fighting games. That was the bad. Now let's do the good, okay? Balance it out. Now instead of just doing the best rivalries, because we all know them, let's go for ones that got swept under the rug. Rivalries that actually had potential and actually were good, but were slept on. Either because they weren't the main stories in the game, or simply because their game has now fallen off and is damn near forgotten. So yeah, and we're gonna cover multiple games rather than just sticking to the big three. So 10 underrated rivalries in fighting games. Let's start with Samurai Shodown. And we're gonna go with Genjuro and Haohmaru. Now this feud has a lot in common with Gouken and Akuma, as you'll find, but except they're not brothers. When they were young, they were taken in by the same master, trained together, became friends, but they have different ideologies. Haohmaru is doing this for the thrill of the fight. He wants to get stronger, he enjoys it. Genjuro is doing it to kill. He believes the weak should die and only the strong survive. And just like clockwork in these stories, the master puts them both to a test. The winner gets a prize, a sword. And because Haohmaru considers him his friend, he holds back. And because Genjuro is ruthless, he goes all out and almost kills him. The master has to jump in to make the save, and then guess what? Because of his actions, he's now banned from the dojo, and now he hates Haohmaru and the master. Haohmaru is awarded the prize, and this guy is pissed and he wants his head. And the story is on. Of course, Genjuro has a tragic backstory. This is actually a good feud. It goes on and on. But yeah, definitely one of Samurai Shodown's better feuds.
久しぶりだな、Genjuro。同門の吉見とはいえ、そんな殺気を向けられちゃうな。どっちが上か、そろそろ白黒つけようぜ。
ふざけ、貴様を殺す。Haohmaru.
Now let's go with Killer Instincts. Wait, what? Yes. Now I always thought Cinder versus Glacius was a decent feud. Here you got the battle of the elements. So that's pretty cool. But I'm gonna go with Jago versus Fulgore. It's Jago's goal to take out Ultra Tech. It just so happens Fulgore is standing in his way. So now you have a human versus machine. A spiritual monk taking on evil machinery. Decent feud. Both Shotos, both completely the opposite, and guess what? Jago does overcome Fulgore. But the Fulgores in these games are like the Jacks in Tekken. Every game coming back remade, more powerful, and they're still on his ass. But this is Jago, so most likely he'll come out on top. Let's go with Virtua Fighter. Wait, what? Now, anything mentioned here will be underrated because no one knows that damn story of Virtua Fighter. Now you can go with Wolf versus El Blaze, Wolf versus Akira, the Bryants, but I'm gonna go with Lau Chan versus Lei Fei. Very interesting pick, right? Now if you're a fan of old school martial art flicks, you've seen the tropes written all over this. Lei Fei is tasked with taking out Lau Chan. They want his fighting style gone, removed. They want to be the strongest, so they need to remove Koen Ken. But instead of Lei Fei being a cliche villain and going to kill him, Lei Fei says, let me think. Let me go and pretend to be a student so I can learn the technique before I kill him so I can be the strongest. And that's smart. And you know, people say all the Virtua Fighter characters are bland and boring. And here's the thing, some of them actually have decent stories, but because Sega made zero effort in trying to tell the story, you wouldn't know that. And when I mean zero effort, as in you don't even get text at the end of the game. You get nothing but a game over screen. I swear, man, when Virtua Fighter 6 is actually eventually released and I click on a story mode in the game, that's gonna be a beautiful day. Literally. But yeah, back to the story. Lei Fei is now training under Lau Chan, and one day gets fed up. He's taking too long to teach him the technique. So Lei Fei says, screw this shit, let me try and kill him. So he has to use the technique. As he's about to kill him, Pai Chan jumps in to make the save. And of course, she has a bad relationship with her dad, so now the stories are intertwining. Definitely making this one of the better stories in Virtua Fighter. And if you've ever watched Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, you can see all the influences it's had over this story and just Virtua Fighter in general. If you know, you know. Let's go with Soulcalibur here. Let's go with my boy Maxi and Astaroth. Now, of course, the story is decent. Essentially, Maxi is on his one-piece shit. Gathered up his crew and they sail the world having adventures. And then one day, while he's not there, Astaroth slaughters his entire crew. Damn. Setting in the revenge story. And as you've gathered by now, I like revenge stories.
What?
Do you remember me, you freak?
Pretentious little bug.
And now the feud is on. He wants revenge. He wants payback for what Astaroth did to his crew. And it goes on. And this is not some easy fight. Even when he defeated Astaroth, he took him to the limit. And it keeps going. Epic feud. Satisfying finish. Definitely underrated.
What? Killick?
Give me Soul Edge!
Man, you guys always need my help. I mean, really, who's gonna stop me after I defeat that monster with this evil sword? Let's go, you freak!
Let's go back to the big three. And there's one you probably forgot because it was over so quick. And that's Jade versus Tanya. Tanya is known for betraying Edenia. Jade is known for being loyal to Edenia. Completely opposites. And it was satisfying for Tanya to finally get her comeuppance. Every time this girl's betraying people, walking people into traps. We see her walk Liu Kang into a trap. Betrayed Rain, betrayed Edenia to Onaga, then betrayed Onaga. All this did was show that this character is one-dimensional. All she knows how to do is betray people. And I remember watching Mortal Kombat Annihilation thinking, y'all know that's meant to be Jade and not Tanya, right? Did you get the characters mixed up? But yeah, definitely an underrated feud, forgotten, and a satisfying finish.
The traitor Tanya had given the Dragon King the information he needed to finish merging the Kamidogu. But before he conquered all the realms, Jade would see Tanya dead. Jade had allowed Baraka's soldiers to capture her, feigning defeat in battle. As Tanya approached her prisoner, Jade waited for the right moment, and threw a glass orb filled with concentrated Sarkata essence at her. The glass broke, splashing its contents across Tanya's body. Baraka and his vile savages worked themselves into an uncontrolled frenzy. They perceived Tanya to be a rival male and instinctively attacked. I doubt she survived the encounter.
Let's get back to Street Fighter. This one writes itself. Dudley versus Balrog. Completely different ideologies, different boxing styles, different personalities. An epic clash. What happened there? Definitely underrated, definitely slept on, and should have a run back. Essentially, this is respect versus greed. A gentleman versus a street thug who's with the shits.
What's this then? Can I help you, sir?
You mean to tell me this little whip is supposed to be the British champ? You gotta be kidding! Hey, take me on, Will!
Does your rudeness know no bounds, sir? Very well, then. Far be it from me to turn down a challenge. And from a fellow pugilist.
Another slept-on feud there. Every time people think of Sagat, they think of Sagat versus Ryu. But Sagat and Adon actually kicked ass. Of course, the story. Adon was angry at Sagat for losing to Ryu. But here's the thing, Adon. You got your ass kicked by him as well. Did you forget that? Didn't Ryu have to beat everyone in Street Fighter 1 to get to Sagat? You were one of those guys. What are you saying? But regardless, Adon tried to kick the man when he was down, challenged him when he hadn't fully recovered and was depressed, and he beat Sagat's ass. Wow, you should be proud of yourself.
Congratulations! Oh my God.
Your boy Sagat was going through it. Eventually got back his composure, got back in the right frame of mind, and he rematched Adon and, well, this happened.
The power of Muay Thai. And most importantly, I will show them that my skills in the art are without equal. Now, witness the birth of a new Muay Thai legend! Look what we have here. If it isn't the former king.
I'm looking for something. Something to reignite my spirit.
That one too!
Tiger! Destruction!
Sagat! 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 Sagat!
Now let's switch to Tekken, and we're gonna go with these two feuds, and what do you know? They're from Tekken 4 and Tekken 5. And we're gonna go with Yoshimitsu and Bryan Fury. Now you already know the story. You rescued Bryan, brought him to Dr. B's lab to help him, and when Bryan recovered, he decided to, I don't know, beat the brakes off everyone, killing Yoshimitsu's clan, and now the revenge story is on. This led to one of the best back and forths in Tekken that actually made sense because he killed his clan, not some random shit like Leo. Good endings, action-packed movie shit, definitely slept on.
Zaibatsu's vault, he found an injured Bryan Fury and helped him escape. A month later, when Yoshimitsu visited Dr. Boskanovich's lab, he found his comrades dead. This was Bryan's thanks. He'll pay for what he's done, says Yoshimitsu. Learning Bryan will fight in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5, Yoshimitsu sharpens his sword and enters the fray.
And the last Tekken one will be King versus Craig. You already know how I feel about this. This is one of the best endings in any fighting game. This feud kicked ass. Craig killed Armor King in a bar fight, and King bailed that man out of prison just so he could put the pause on him in the tournament. Awesome storytelling, epic ending, and no Mishimas involved. This was fire. I'm gonna end it with Mortal Kombat, definitely an underrated feud. That's gonna be Kenshi versus Shang Tsung. I always thought it was good. The build was good, the setup, the origin. Tricking him into opening the Well of Souls and being blinded. And now the story is on. In fact, I was watching Snowblind and I was waiting for them to actually finish this up. And when Shang Tsung was killed by Kano, I'm like, what? And don't get twisted, Snowblind was a decent movie overall, but you should have had Kenshi kill Shang Tsung. At least he got his revenge in Deadly Alliance.
Kenshi had finally caught up with Shang Tsung in Outworld. Years ago, Kenshi had been manipulated into releasing the souls of his warrior ancestors. Shang Tsung had consumed those souls and left Kenshi to die in the tomb. The ordeal left Kenshi blinded, but the sword of his ancestors led him out of the depths. To redeem himself, Kenshi had vowed to free his ancestors from their captor. He cut Shang Tsung down with his ancestral sword, and a blast of souls was instantly released. The spirits of the warrior kings re-entered the sword as Kenshi held it above his head. His duty fulfilled, he could now return to Earthrealm.
Fire shit, good ending. Unfortunately for him, it never happened because the Deadly Alliance won. But yeah, dope ending regardless, people. That's gonna be it. Probably went over 10 again. List your honorable mentions. I'm gonna try and hit you with one of these every single week. And these are the recommended videos for today.